On a chilly autumn evening, I decided to explore an abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town with a group of adventurous friends. The once grand building stood silent and foreboding, its windows shattered and ivy reclaiming the decaying walls. As we entered the eerie corridors with flashlights in hand, a sense of unease settled over the group. The air inside was thick with the musty scent of age and neglect. Graffiti-covered walls told a story of a place forgotten by time, but the occasional creaks and whispers hinted at a lingering presence. We ventured deeper, our footsteps echoing through empty hallways. In one room, we discovered a collection of rusted medical equipment, a haunting reminder of the hospital's former life. The air grew colder as we reached the basement, a place where the darkness seemed almost tangible. As we explored the underground maze of rooms, a distant sound echoed a faint but unmistakable moan. We exchanged nervous glances, questioning whether it was just the building settling or something more sinister. The moans persisted, growing louder and more distinct. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. A frail figure in a tattered hospital gown stood before us, their eyes hollow and vacant. Fear gripped our group as the figure approached, its movements unnatural and unsettling. In a raspy voice, the figure spoke of pain, suffering, and a past that refused to be forgotten. The atmosphere became suffocating as the ghostly presence recounted tales of patients left to languish, their cries unheard in the desolate halls. Terrified, we stumbled backward, trying to escape the spectral encounter. The figure reached out, its touch sending a chill through our bones. In a moment of panic, we sprinted through the labyrinthine corridors, the ghostly moans echoing behind us. As we emerged into the crisp night air, the abandoned hospital stood in solemn silence. The encounter left us shaken, questioning the thin veil between the past and present. The ghostly moans lingered in our memories, a chilling reminder that some places and the echoes of their history should remain undisturbed. In my college days, I took up a summer internship in a quaint town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. My assigned project required me to digitize old records stored in the basement of the local historical society. It seemed like a straightforward task until I descended the creaky stairs into the dimly lit archives. The room was filled with dusty shelves, and the air carried the scent of aged paper. As I worked, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Occasionally, I heard soft whispers that seemed to dance on the edge of my perception. Brushing off the unease, I immersed myself in the task at hand. One day, while sorting through a box of yellow documents, I stumbled upon a series of old photographs. They depicted a group of people in early 20th century attire, engaged in what looked like liaisons. The images were accompanied by handwritten notes detailing the town's dark history of occult practices. As I delved deeper into the archives, the whispers grew more pronounced. I started hearing my name in the soft murmurings, and shadows seemed to flit at the periphery of my vision. Colleagues dismissed my concerns, attributing them to the isolation of the basement and the weight of historical tales. Late one evening, as I worked alone, the temperature in the room plummeted. I heard footsteps echoing in the corridor outside, but when I investigated, there was no one there. The whispers intensified, forming indistinct words that sent shivers down my spine. One night, I decided to digitize an old diary that chronicled the experiences of a woman involved in the occult. As I transcribed the passages, a chilling realization dawned: the events described were happening to me. The same inexplicable occurrences, the whispers, the footsteps in the empty corridor. It was all there in the diary, written decades before. Terrified, I rushed to share my discovery with the Historical Society, only to find the basement empty. The archives, once filled with records and photographs, were now barren. Panicked, I searched for any sign of my colleagues but found no trace. In a state of dread, I fled the building. The town, once familiar, seemed distorted in the moonlight. The whispers surrounded me, accusing and mournful. As I reached the outskirts, the town behind me vanished into darkness, leaving me standing alone on an empty road. To this day, I wonder if I stumbled upon a portal to the past, or if the history I uncovered was a spectral warning. The experience remains etched in my memory, a chilling reminder that some tales buried in the archives are best left undisturbed. In the heart of a forgotten town, I discovered an abandoned mansion, its imposing structure hidden behind overgrown vines. Drawn by a sense of curiosity mixed with trepidation, I ventured inside, my footsteps echoing through the grand entrance hall. The air inside was thick with dust, and the dim light filtering through cracked windows painted eerie patterns on the decaying wallpaper. As I explored, I came across a room filled with antique furniture draped in dusty sheets, frozen in time. The atmosphere was heavy, as if the weight of decades pressed upon the forgotten belongings. In the rear of the mansion, I found a door, slightly ajar. The room beyond was dimly lit by a single flickering bulb. At the center stood an ornate mirror, its gilded frame reflecting the years of neglect and decay. I couldn't help but stare at the mirror, captivated by the ghostly images that seemed to flicker within its glass. As I reached out to touch the mirror, the temperature in the room dropped abruptly. I recoiled, startled, as the mirror began to reveal scenes from the mansion's past. I watched in horror as the room transformed into a lively ballroom, filled with elegantly dressed guests twirling in dance. In the reflection, a figure caught my eye, a woman in a flowing gown, her eyes locked onto mine. The music in the mirror crescendoed, drowning out the creaks and groans of the decaying mansion. The woman's spectral gaze seemed to beckon me, and against my better judgment, I stepped closer. The moment I crossed the threshold of the room, the grand ballroom in the mirror shattered, replaced by a scene of desolation. The mansion, now in ruins, stood as a testament to forgotten grandeur. The woman, her ethereal form now tinged with sadness, reached out as if trapped between the echoes of the past and the reality of the present. A voice, hauntingly familiar, whispered through the air, "You shouldn't have come here." The temperature plummeted further, and a chilling wind swept through the room. In a panic, I stumbled backward, fleeing the spectral visions that clung to the mansion's haunted halls. As I emerged into the sunlight, the mansion loomed behind me, silent and foreboding. The images from the mirror lingered in my mind, a spectral warning etched into the fabric of that forgotten town, a reminder that some places hold echoes of the past that are better left undisturbed.